Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad you are here. No, it is not a fall decorating pumpkin drink making video today. As I had mentioned on Tuesday's craft video, that will be coming up next week. I realized I had all kinds of bits and pieces recorded throughout August. I want to share those with you here today. First, we will be making a green bean soup, and I will also be sharing a hamburger soup recipe here, as well as homemade sourdough hamburger buns. We'll be making smashburgers with the family, as well as I will be sharing my favorite macaroni salad or for as a side with you here, and also an apple dessert. So it's a bit of all sorts, but I hope you will enjoy the video. So I just went ahead and cut up my green and yellow beans, and then I'm cubing some potatoes here as well. When my mom would make green bean soup, it would just be green bean soup, but I like to add all kinds of vegetables here. And then, so you will start off with a chopped onion, as well as a cut up smoked farmer sausage. You could also make it with smoked ham. And then you will cook that for a while first as you're getting all your vegetables ready. And then you will add all the vegetables after that's been cooked, maybe about 15 minutes maybe. Oh, my garden looks so green here, yet it doesn't look like that anymore. We will also be doing some garden cleanup in this video as well a little bit later on. I am just getting some summer savory out of the garden for the soup. Unfortunately, that is all done with by now already. And I'm also adding some carrots here. You can add whatever vegetables you want. You can also just do green beans. I'm adding some rosemary to the chopped up summer savory here as well. It gives the soup a really good flavor. Then after the farmer sausage, onion, and water has cooked for a while, like I said earlier, about 10, maybe 15 minutes, you add all the vegetables as well as a bay leaf. And then I'm also adding a little bit of Italian seasoning, salt, and pepper to taste. And then once the vegetables are nice and tender, then they are done, and you just add some heavy whipping cream here. Trust me, it gives it the extra special flavor. And then here I'm just making some BLT sandwiches with some homemade rosemary and cheese sourdough bread. And I'm going to go ahead and toast it. And oh goodness, it's going to be such a good lunch. I am so hungry for this, just doing the voiceover here. This is a really easy, simple, but so delicious meal. It could be a lunch or it could be a supper. And I'll go ahead and just share with you what I like on my BLT sandwich. And it is so good on sourdough toasted bread. Some Miracle Whip made with olive oil, then some mustard, and also some pesto. Oh my goodness, this makes the BLT sandwich to the moon and back. I absolutely love it. And then I also add, of course, the crispy bacon, some avocado, and an egg. And then lettuce, tomato, and of course cheese. I think that was jalapeno Monterey Jack cheese right there. And my goodness, you guys, I hope I'm making you hungry right now, because my mouth is watering just doing the voice over here. This was a perfect lunch. And then I'm going to go ahead and just share with you one of my favorite cold drinks to have, and that is a frozen hot chocolate. So you will just go ahead and add some hot chocolate mix to a couple of tablespoons, however sweet you like it, as well as, of course, you will do an espresso shot. Sometimes I add collagen powder to this as well. And then you will add ice, and then blend this all up, and then also a little bit of vanilla, and it gives a perfect frozen hot chocolate drink. one of my favorite drinks. I cannot wait to share some pumpkin drinks with you next week. So the other videos I'm sharing with you today are from August, except for us cleaning out the garden here today. That is currently, and it is kind of a bittersweet moment. It makes me kind of sad that this is done with. It's over. Everything has to go now because I feel like it went by so fast again. My flowers did not bloom the best here in this garden box. I think next year I'll have to come up with a different strategy. And we're just going ahead and pulling everything out that has served its purpose and it is done with, and gotta move on because October is right around the corner here, and we gotta get the garden clean out before the snow comes, right? And we are just gathering up all the good tomatoes yet out of the garden. We will either make another recipe of salsa or I will give these tomatoes away. Here is that beautiful herb garden that you saw, or herb box you saw earlier. My parsley is still good. I'm going to leave that in for a while yet. You know, I have actually left it in all winter, and I have actually in the past gone and shoved snow aside to gather up some parsley yet. It's amazing how long parsley stays good even in the cold. And I believe I planted root parsley, so that should be coming back next year.
Open up the window, I'm breathing in the last of September. I can feel the wind blow, and the late summer sky is like a giant ember. Everything is turning into gold when the autumn leaves are playing chase. It puts a smile up on my face. They leave their branches one by one and whirl around there just for fun. Some are faster, some are slow, and some are high and some are low, dancing through the last days of September.
My annuals that I had planted along the garden side here beside the path, I had planted some marigolds. They did not do well here at all. In the front in my flower garden did really well, but in the back here, not so much. So I don't think next year I will be planting annuals here, but of course next year we've got a whole different plan again for the garden. Which is not gardening a lot, but doing some things differently, whatever it is we will be planting. My beets, of course, also didn't do very well. I got a few medium-sized beets out of here that I will be using for juicing with my carrots and celery. Oh, it's so good and such a good liver cleanser. I'm always feeling a little sad when the seasons change. I really love summer. Fall has its beautiful moments as well. God has a plan for every season. And I'm just so sad that the garden is looking so empty here now already. But I'm feeling so thankful what God provided for us out of our garden that we had this year. So this is yet another day. Here I'm making hamburger soup, perfect for the colder days. I chopped up some onion, carrots, and celery, and with some olive oil, and I will just saute this here for a while. In the meantime, while I'm cutting up all my other vegetables. It's a very hearty, healthy soup, I think, in my point of view. Here I've got some organic potatoes that I will be adding later on. And I'm just cubing up the potatoes into bite-sized pieces. In this hamburger soup, you can basically add whatever your favorite vegetables are. It is just so yummy. And I have a few ripe tomatoes left here. This is before we cleaned out the garden. And I'm going to go ahead and chop those up and add them as well. Like I said, you can add basically whatever vegetables are your favorite. I love all vegetables. So for me, it's hands down onion, carrot, celery, tomatoes, garlic, whatever I can think of. I will add in here. I mean, I've never added broccoli or cauliflower, but that might work as well. I don't know. And then once these vegetables have sauteed it long enough, long enough. You don't want them all the way tender, right? You just want to saute them for a little bit to soften them. Then I added my garlic as well as some Italian herbs. Oh my goodness, this soup is so delicious. And then a bay leaf as well. If you want all in one pot, healthy, hearty soup, this is the one for you. Maybe you have made it before, I don't know. And here I added about 2 pounds of ground beef. And then I will add some salt and pepper to taste. And then I added about 4 cups of water to this. And then you will add the potatoes, the tomatoes, as well as some corn. Of course, it's optional. And then I added about 2 tablespoons of beef bouillon. And then I went ahead and added several tablespoons of tomato paste as well to make it more tomatoey tasting. And then I decided to add some frozen green beans as well yet. The more vegetables for me, the better. So you've got your protein in here and you've got all your vegetables in here. And then once your vegetables are nice and tender, your soup is ready. It goes perfect with a slice of sourdough bread on the side. So now we're going to go ahead and start off with these sourdough hamburger buns. My sourdough is nice and bubbly here. I'm starting off with a cup of sourdough to add here. Now, this is a bit ago when I recorded this. I'm going to have to do a little bit of research on the recipe I used. But I do know that Justina from Justina and Johnny's Life, she had made these hamburger buns and it looked so good, but I don't think she did the sourdough a portion of it. I think she used yeast, but I will link that video where she made them. I will link that down below for you, as well as the recipe if I can find it. And I just decided on doing or on making them sourdough instead of with just regular yeast, and they turned out really good. And they were not only delicious with the smashburgers that we're going to be making, but they're also really good with even for breakfast, like with butter and jam, or for anything really you can use them for. I will definitely be making these again once the dough has risen. Of course, when you're doing it sourdough, it takes longer for it to rise and get ready. Or for it to be ready to roll out, and you want to not make regular buns here. You're going to roll this out into about, I think it's a 2-inch thick dough, and then you will cut the buns out. I'm just using a jar ring here, and that works fine for me, but if you have a special ring for it, that's fine too. And then once they have risen and doubled, then I baked them and they turned out absolutely delicious. And I also added some butter on the top of these before I baked them, just to give them that extra golden look. I know you can sprinkle sesame seeds on top of here, but I didn't have any. So of course I didn't add any. And then I'm going to go ahead and start making my homemade macaroni salad here. This is my absolutely favorite salad recipe. Of course you cook the macaroni first. I have no exact recipe here, you guys. You're just gonna have to do this. I'm an approximate girl. I know that's not for everyone, but that is me. I don't know even how many cups of macaronis I cooked here, maybe 2 cups. And then I'm adding chopped dill, I'm adding chopped onion and chopped cooked eggs here again, and also cucumbers I did. I'm adding some celery seed, and this is just how I love the macaroni salad I make. And my whole family really loves my macaroni salad. So give it a try. If you have special recipes, let me know. And yes, I added buttermilk, and my kids do not know I add buttermilk. So if they see this, they might think, huh, there's buttermilk in there? But it makes it extra delicious. And then, of course, I added some pickle juice from my homemade bread and butter pickles, as well as chopped up pickles. And this makes it even extra special. And I think with the buttermilk and the pickle juice and everything, that's what makes it not dry. And then, of course, I added Miracle Whip. I added sour cream. That's the mixture I like to use. And salt and pepper to taste. And then you want to make this a little bit of ahead so that it can sit in the fridge for a while and marinate. Then it's even more delicious. And then we're going to go ahead and make a dessert here. Since apples are in season right now, we're going to go ahead and make, and I want to say, an apple crisp. Again, I don't follow a recipe. I have a random bunch of apples there that we bought from a guy that was selling apples from an apple orchard from Ontario. We just bought a bag of apples from him. And then I melted some butter, and to this I am adding some oats, some nutritional yeast, some healthy Redmond salt, and then I will go ahead and press this into a 9x13 pan, and I will bake this for about 10 minutes, and then I will go ahead and add all the chopped apples. And as you saw, of course, I added vanilla into this crust mixture as well. I love vanilla, so I add vanilla to almost everything. And I'm making this gluten-free, so I'm adding gluten-free flour as well, and then it will go into that pan. And then once the crust has baked for about 10 minutes, you will add all your chopped apples. And then on top of that, I add brown sugar, cinnamon, and I also did some pumpkin spice because, let's face it, everything tastes better with pumpkin spice to me anyhow. But of course, that's optional. And then later on, once this has baked, you just want to bake it long enough till the apples are tender. Not mushy, but tender, and then you can add whipped cream or ice cream. Makes a perfect fall dessert. Here we're going to go ahead and make smash burgers. We like to use quarter ground pork and then the rest of it ground beef. No recipe again, and then only salt and peppers for these smash burgers. We are using the Blackstone here that we got gifted from the kids to make our smash burgers. My cameraman here is our oldest son. He has his own YouTube channel, by the way, as well. I will link it down below. And we've also got another son and daughter-in-law that have a YouTube channel, and I will link their channel down below as well. These smash burgers are amazing. This is our oldest son here being the cameraman.
Shoot.
This meal was definitely a hit with our whole family, with the homemade sourdough hamburger buns, and with the smash burgers and the homemade macaroni salad. It was so delicious. That will be all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed coming along. I hope it gave you some kind of inspiration for making meals. Thank you so much for being here and for watching. We'll see you next time.